Hi guys, so here I've experienced a number of problems with the latest Windows 10 update. Now I upgraded from Windows 8.1, so I had expected everything to work. Of course it wasn't. I totally lost my CD Rom drives, Blu-ray player and burner. I lost my ability to dual boot. Even though the drive was there and seen within Windows, it wasn't seen as a Windows boot disk for the 8.1, and when I did sort it out, it kept disappearing. Windows 10 kept messing it up. So here were the fixes. Basically, there was a number of fixes. The first one for the CD Rom drive was now you can type in control panel here, or for me I always keep the control panel on my taskbar there, but just for you guys, control panel, and I get that up, and I'm looking for device manager. So the easiest way, you can go into the hardware and sound, but if you just type in device manager, Windows will bring this up. Okay, and DVD or CD-ROM drives. Now I was showing here a fault, and cdrom.sys wasn't actually showing up as a valid driver. It was showing up as corrupted. So that gave me a major problem. Other advice is to uninstall the SATA HCI controller and then just reboot. Now, I didn't have to do that for mine, so I would tend to avoid doing that if you can. You can right click and uninstall this if your CD-ROM isn't being seen. Once you've done that, there's a number of things you can do. You can type in the current text that I'm going to put up on the screen. Just get Word up for you. Okay, that's it there. Let me just sort of increase the font on that. And what I found actually was this. I got off the internet myself, but I think I had to put it all in inverted commas. I don't actually want to do that now. But if you press the Windows key, which is the start button normally, and X, get that up, you get command prompt admin, yeah, and click on that and you'll get the admin app. If you were to copy that and paste that in, it will come up with telling you how to write it correctly for your system, but if it's wrong, so and sometimes it doesn't, Windows doesn't like reg.exe either. Sometimes it's reg add. So depending on your quirks of your computer, it might be that, but the prompt will tell you to do it. I'll leave it like that. You simply paste that into the admin command prompt, and that will add a setting in your registry keys. Now the other way to do it is manually, and you still have to go into the registry editor. So you type in regedit here and go into the registry editor. Okay, this has come up on one of my other screens, so let me just get that up there for you. Oh, there you go. That's where I was last time. So essentially one thing you can do here is you go into H key local machine, system, current control set, control, and then class. Okay, and I'll put that sort of pathway in the text as well. And then you're looking for this key. Now in this key I've deleted only one item. It's not showing there now, but if you give you 1 second. So what you will have in here is lower filters and possibly upper filters. You may not have them at all, in which case, you know, don't delete them, but you'll probably have one or the other if you're not seeing your CD Rom drives. And you would just sort of select the lower filter or the upper filter, right click it, and then click on delete. That's not the one to delete. It will say lower filter or upper filter. So to get to this, you simply go to H key local machine, and then system, current control set, control, class, and you choose that one. Now you can see here, now using these drop down arrows drops them down. Okay, and that's how you get to them, using those arrows. So it's bring it down to, again, H key local machine, system, current control set, control, class, and you're looking for this line exactly, that one there. And if you've got lower filters or upper filters in there, right click and delete them. Once you've done that, just close down your registry editor and reboot your computer. When you reboot your computer, in all likelihood you will see your CD-ROM drives. It will reinstall them, and you won't have any problems. Certainly I've upgraded from Windows 8.1 and that sorted out for myself, and it wasn't seeing any CD-ROM drive, whether I put on an external one or whatever, just wasn't being seen. So I will put that in the text below. One of the other problems I had was actually none of my programs were working and I lost my dual boot. So for a dual boot system, if you're having one, now it is always best to back up your system before you upgrade. If you're searching this, probably you've already upgraded and you're having the problem, but just for future reference, I actually use a Cronus True Image. There's a lot of disk imaging software out there. It doesn't have to be a Cronus, but a Cronus is a very easy backup software for your computer. You can make bootable disks from it, and it's this is 2019 version. It's you just simply select a drive you want to back up. It makes a compressed version of it, so it's actually smaller than your drive, and you back up the computer onto a different hard drive. And we'll get there. So here's I had a 8.1 pre-Windows 10 backup, and obviously I have my current Windows 10 backup. Now I have deleted previous versions because they weren't working properly, and backed up the latest version that I know to be working to the best of my knowledge at the moment. So this is a handy little program. You can recover then files, or you can recover disks from those backups as well. So it's a very handy little program. This is very useful if you have problems with your programs not running as well, but also if you haven't done a backup, Windows updates do back up your system they keep all the old files in a windows.old folder, and even if you've upgraded to the new update, then not so much of an issue, because what you'll have is Windows old, which is your old Windows system. That'll be my 8.1, and the Windows 10 upgrade, which is I'll have files it's in some way changed. So I don't know why it changes stuff, to be honest with you, but it does. So what I found, and what you may find, and for me, I went into the Windows old one, so I took the recovery files off the Windows 8.1, and a lot of my programs weren't working. So Vegas Pro wasn't opening up, it was saying missing DLL files, and I was searching the computer and they were still there. My Neuro wasn't working, my Neuro 2015 wasn't working, and various other things. I've had my Magic's had to reinstall. I had a few issues with Neuro. I did uninstall and reinstall it. It didn't sort it out. It'll tell you that it may sort it out by reinstalling. It did nothing at all. So I think what happened is it's seeing the files as being there, and it's probably missing a registry key entry. So it's probably a waste of your time to uninstall and reinstall. Now the file that was missing was, for my programs anyway, was MSVCP 110.dll, and there's quite a lot of these on the system for various applications, and the program's DLL file is stored in Windows System 32. So if you were to go into the just get that up there, that's the Windows old, Windows System 32, and then you would hunt for that MSV. I could search in this bar here, but I'll just scroll down for it for now. So here's the MSV, and it's that file there. Now you could drag and drop. If Windows doesn't allow you to do that, sorry, it's not that one. Looking at that actually, so that's the win.dll. That is a different file to the one that I'd be looking for. And for some reason, actually Windows 10 hasn't backed it up. So that is a bit of an issue. And the other folder that it's in is, so you want that without the win in it, MSVCP 110.dll without the win. That's a separate one. And let's just see if it's in the other one as well. 1 second. So we're looking for the syswow64 folder. Which isn't there either. Okay, so it hasn't backed up everything actually, so that's an issue for you. So if you haven't backed up, you may have a problem. But if you can find them in your Windows old folder, so much the better, or on an old disk, any kind of backup that you've had. Because what I found was I had to use Acronis actually to replace these files in the System32 folder, and I also replaced it in the syswow64 folder. And it may be that if you back it up, if your computer can actually delete those files and do a reinstall, that may do it. But what it did for me was it did change my background pictures as well, so it must have something to do with your graphics settings as well, in terms of your background. It did change one or two things, changing the two files, but as soon as I changed it, all my programs started working. And even my Nero 10 that wasn't working started working, my Vegas Pro started working. I didn't have to do anything else, just replace those two files and everything was hunky-dory. So MSVCP 110.dll made all of my graphics programs to work, and Nero, burning everything basically, started to work again. So just something for you to realize. If you get stuck uninstalling, reinstalling and not working with the new Windows 10 update, MSVCP 110.dll, replace them in the System32 folder in Windows and the syswow64. I'll just spell that here for you. It's Windows / syswow. I think that's syswow64 / there. So that's the path that you want. So if you can back those up before doing an upgrade, or in my case, do the backup before doing any update whatsoever. Always best to do an update after you've done a backup of your entire system, because when it messes up, and they invariably do, you're going to need it. I've even had this drive disappear, and I've had to do a reboot, and a part of the resolution for that was that with the dual boot system, there was a problem having an MBR disk format and GPT format. So anyway, for me, if you look at Disk Manager, you can search out in Control Panel as well. You'll get a list of all your disks. So what you can do here, if you've got any MBR, is you can actually convert them. So these are all formatted in the GBT format. And if you have disks formatted in the MBR, and if you've got a bootable disk, like your dual boot disk for your earlier version of Windows in your system, and that's an MBR disk, then it's likely that the Windows 10 update is going to give you problems. It doesn't like MBR disks and GBT disks together. It doesn't matter what size the disk are. My SSD drives here only 250 gigs, and it was causing me problems. So you can see here I've got Windows F, which is actually my Windows 8.1, and this is my Windows 10 drive here. So always best to have your backups on a separate drive. So I've got all my backups on this drive, and format your disks all in the GBT, so that Windows doesn't give it too many problems. If you have a multi-boot system, EasyBCD. That's EasyBCD. You can Google that. So you can just go onto Google and let me just get Google up. EasyBCD. Google it. Okay, and you just click on that. I don't have to buy it, in fact. Just look up what it does and download it. Basically, you look at more of it. Click on download now and download. That's the fixing one, I think. Actually, non-commercial free is the one. I think I downloaded actually. Okay, yeah, that's when I clicked on. I just clicked on download. I didn't even bother to fill that in, and I downloaded it to my computer, installed it, and then what that does is very nicely allows you to have a dual boot screen. So, or you can have multiple operating systems. Actually, doesn't matter, and it will come up eventually. It'll come up with this little window. It's a very easy program to use. You can edit the boot menu. So initially I only had Windows 10 in it. It didn't have the 8.1 SSDF. So when you add a new entry, you give it a name. You can name it anything you like, so I obviously call it Windows 8.1 SSD drive F, and you choose what drive that is on. So I just did that really, and then you click add. I'm not going to do that, but you click add, and then once you've done that, you'll have that in the boot menu. You can change the countdown. You can skip the boot menu. You can have it wait for your selection, so it doesn't actually go past that, but have a countdown. It'll boot with your default operating system, which for me is Windows 10. I can change it to Windows 8.1 if I wanted to, and then you just click Save Settings. This also seems to sort out any sort of boot up problems as well, if you're having problems. But what I was finding with the new Windows 10, the MBR disk, was that I had to switch the MBR disk off via my front loadable bay in order for it to boot up at all. It didn't like MBR at all. It wouldn't go past it. You can switch it on as soon as it started to boot up, but I wasn't then unable to actually do a simple reboot without switching it off. When they were both in GBT format, it didn't give a problem at all. So always best to format your disks in one type of format, irrespective of the size, and avoid using MBR format with the new Windows 10, because it just doesn't like it at all. It is a known fault. Lots of people are experiencing this issue, and it's a bug in the final release. They'll probably sort it out in the later build, but at the moment I'm having to use EasyBCD. Once you've done that, you'll actually, when you can click the X or file exit, whatever, it'll boot up into Windows normally, but it'll come up with a blue screen giving you the selection of Windows 10 and the other operating systems. So it's a very nice multiple boot system. You can put in as many different systems as you like. If I wanted to put in a Linux system, I could take out my Windows 8.1, put another system in, and boot up from that as well. So very, very handy to have. And I say it'll automatically roll onto your default operating system after whatever time frame you tell it to. So those are the fixes that I found. This is for a lost CD Rom drive that's not been seen in the Windows 10 update. For programs that aren't opening, saying you've got missing DLL files, you may have other missing DLL files being stated, but on my programs it was this particular one only that sorted them all out. And they're all sort of video editing and burning, and for some reason Windows 10 still had them, but it wasn't being seen. So I think when I did the restore via Acronis, it also probably put a registry entry in, because the files were there. They're just not being seen by the system. They've been told they were missing, so I'm assuming that would be a registry edit. Okay, so those are the fixes for Windows 10 update. I have a fully functioning dual boot system with Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 as of January 2019, and it's all working quite nicely at the moment. My Nero's working. All I had before was DLL is missing. So now the way to edit this here in terms of your reg editor is again, it's HK local machine. I don't know where that's gone. So what I'll do is I'll in Windows 10 you have a rather nice where's your window sort of thing, which is, where is my reg it's here somewhere. Oh, it's not here. I've got it there though somewhere. Oh, it's there. Where is that? Oh, okay, it's there, sorry. Yeah, I've got it on another screen. Right, so you could actually follow this. To add the controller, the path to registry editor is HK local machine system CurrentControlSet Services. Scroll down to Atapi, and you'll probably just have start override here. So forget the fact that I've got that there. You highlight Atapi and put in new key. Now you'd call this controller 0. Well, for this purposes I'm going to call it controller 01. Okay, but it's controller 0, you need to name it. And then I'm going to highlight it, and then in this space here I'm going to right click new and dword 32-bit value, yeah, and then I'm gonna rename this to enum device enum device. Okay, I think when I double click this it will put the 1 in. I'll give that a value of 1. I've just renamed it and double clicked it. I put that value in as 1. I'm sorry, okay, so I will have to rename that. That has to be enum device 1. And once you double click it and you change that value into a 1, and then that will all set itself in. Okay, and then you simply close it down and reboot the computer, and then you should see actually your CD-ROM drives appear. I'm going to actually delete that because I don't require it. Yes, so I still have my controller 0, and that's how it will look. So you would right click, new, dword 32-bit value, name it enum device 1, double click, change 0 to a 1, and that will be all set in for you. And then you reboot your computer after removing the high filters and low filters as described previously. or in this video somewhere. When you did a reboot, you should have when you do the reboot, you should have your CD-ROM seen. I just need to switch my screen back on. So there's the things to change again. That's system key to add into the command prompt, or to add in manually via the registry editor, or you can also, if you have the problems I had with the programs opening, replace those files there, the msvcp 110.dll and the syswow64 and the system32 folder. And for solving the boot problem, because Windows 10 won't see the other operating system very well usually, it just doesn't like it, use something like ECBCD to add the boot keys. Okay, the boot management files. And that's what sorted out for me. I run on an AMD computer, 8.3 gig, 8 core, 3.3 gig processor, and that has sorted it out for me. So I hope that helps in some way. Those is the issues I've had. My CD-ROMs not being seen at all, my programs not functioning, files being reported as missing that are still there and not corrupted, and adding that DLL file and doing the registry entry, uninstalling the CD-ROM, doing a reboot and using EasyBCD to manage the boot up system has given me a very functional dual boot system with all my programs functioning. Okay, I hope that helps anyway. I'll put the information in terms of registry editing paths and what to put in there, and the easiest way to put in the registry edit is to copy and paste that into the admin control command. So command prompt, so that's start and X, and then you've got the disk management there, as you can see as well. Yeah, computer management command prompt, but you want the admin prompt really. Get that up, copy and paste the text in. If it's incorrect for your system, it will tell you what to change. Normally it did for me, and that will add that into the registry for you, but you will still have to go in, as I've said, to edit the upper filters and lower filters. Okay, so you can pause the video and follow the path for that. I'll also write on there the key you need to look for. So I hope that helps. Oh, I would say subscribe, I suppose, but I'm only just sort of, I don't really use this channel that much, but I do have a trading channel if you trade the markets, that has slightly more videos on it, but I'll put the information up in the description.